Okay. Hello. Okay. So someone in the Discord tell me something. Tell me about this. Let me just put. No, I'm not going to use your bullshit. So sorry about that. Sorry, Microsoft. Okay. So. Why does Linus Torvalds hate C++? He tried that before C++. Okay. Let's just view the answers, right? Let's just review them one by one to see how much IQ does WG20 WR/CPP people in the probably losers, whatever you think, right? People in have any IQ? Probably not. Okay, just first, he tried it before C++11. Back to C compilers was quite a mess. Now, dude, are you saying kernel C++ is not a mess? I think I made a bunch of whole videos about so-called modern C++, right? We have this entire freestanding that has no move, right? And no move. Right? Let's just try that. Let's just try move an object. Let's just move an object. I have an int, right? I have an int. Probably using int is not a good idea. Let's just try something else. Try system. Just try system. I'll include system in first. I'll try insert 32D. Okay. Now what I do is that okay, I do this, right? Okay, I'm going to use the latest C++ 23 standard which haven't been released. Right, we are now C++ 20. C++ 23 is still just a draft, right? It's not C++ 23. But just try C++ 23, for example. What? How can I move object? Oh no, he's talking to include utility. Okay, now get this. What happened? What's happening here? Okay, what's happening? Right, it's turned out the problem is that to move is in the utility header, right? And utility header is not freestanding header. So we cannot do this. You might say, oh, it's not a problem. You can write it. We can just write a to move, right? Let's just see something like LVM. Okay, to move LVM. It's called LVM replace cost. Treat as to move as built-in. Okay. We have this patch. Treat to move no except as built-in. They also treat address of as built-in. Okay. So let's just see what's going on with clan. If we compile this code, we don't have utility, right? We cannot do this. So now we have to target x86 64 elf. Now I need to put the sys root here. x86 64 elf. Is this elf? Let me just check headers. Yeah, this is our elf. Okay. Sysroot equals this. No input file. Okay, we need to put input file here. Utility. No string. It doesn't find string, right? Okay. I don't know what's going on because the client is right. That's why you shouldn't use client in any form, right? C++ 13 0. Okay, Okay, then we also need to put bits of C++, right? Bits C++ config, we need to put bits here. Include those two headers. Those two headers to see what's going on. Not found. Okay, no, we're not found bits of C++ config. What's going on? Oh, this is why. Okay, this is why. We need also put I here. This is why. No sumo. Okay, no sumo. Okay. Utility. No utility. No sumo. No utility. Let me try host torsion. Host torsion. Okay, this is host torsion. Then we just need clam ++. C utility. This is host torsion. Let's just no sumo. See what the assembly generates. Better just disable exceptions to see what's going on with client right now. Yes. We can see now client treats it as a built-in. Right, completely built-in, just completely treated as a built-in function. So if we're using that, it's a built-in function. Unless we put something like no built-in or no f freestanding. If we put f freestanding, we can see here it actually generates a to move here. Unless we put an O2 here, it will remove it again. But we can see now if you're just using to move for clan, it's a built-in right now. But if we're using freestanding torsion, this header doesn't exist because even it is a compiler backdoor, it's still not freestanding. Okay. Which is quite ridiculous, right? Quite ridiculous. Now, let's try something else. Try, for example, pseudo addresser. Okay, pseudo addresser is extremely important because it has to be evaluated at context per time, right? Put in the context per. Let's just return something. For example, return a B. Okay, it's not undefined behavior, right? Now put it in here. Now try another called bar. Okay, now call foo. We call foo, we call for S, for example. Context per S. Right. No memory. No memory header. Okay, if we try freestanding torsion, not try freestanding, we'll try no freestanding, nothing. Nothing in the freestanding torsion, but we can do that with hosted torsion, right? But pseudo addresser is a context per function. We have to use this built-in to evaluate the compile time. You might say we can rewrite it. Let's just try to write it with the memory here, with std addresser. Write our own addresser. Okay, see whether it could work. Let's just define a namespace called my namespace my def, for example. Okay, then we try my def dot addresser whether it going to work. No, it's not going to work because it's not a context per function, right? It's not a context per function. So we cannot write code at all. Maybe you might say it's because we're now include type trace. Let's just try whether it can include type trace. No, we cannot do this because it's a non-context per function. There's no memory header. There's no memory header at all. If we try to write ourselves, we are not going to work. It's not going to work. Right? So this code is not working. It's not working at all. Right? We cannot put this function as context per. Then using function enable if nonsense. It's just completely wrong. Just completely wrong. they have said it's not context, but this implementation is just very, I would say, very misleading. Okay, we should actually change this implementation to avoid people to get it wrong. We cannot use this implementation. The only thing we have to do is possible implement real possible implementation. Okay. Has compiler support, right? So what the compiler is going to do with it? Well, it's going to do this. I'll just try this, okay? That the compiler is going to do is using built-in address. Okay, well let's try whether this could work. Replace that one with that one. And we also put context here. No, we're not going to put type name here. We'll just put context here. Right. To see whether it works. Yeah, it works. Right. It works. So the implementation just wrong, and we have to use this compiler built-in, which is highly tied to the compiler, tied to specific compiler. So this is probably not going to be portable. Right, to the specific compiler. Let's just try with summary, add a real implementation to avoid misleading, right? Something like that. So we cannot do this. We have to do this, but this is probably not going to work for many compilers, right? That's an issue. That's a huge issue. And Linus Torvalds is now somewhat built-in because the compiler, the client adds this thing as treat smooth forward as built-in because they want to improve compile time, dude. Compile time. 3%. So are you saying the compiler isn't a mess? Well, I have to write this, or I cannot do this because the compiler doesn't have memory header. It doesn't have the header. How could you say it's not a mess? It's still a mess, right? It's still a horrible mess. Even the policy feature is a mess. I talked about the unique part is a mess, right? So this argument is ridiculous, completely ridiculous. He's assuming that it's VC64. I won't even care people who have a Ukraine flag here. Whatever. 那不是我似的。Because they're saying Google. Have they ever heard anything from what Google would say? Google have the entire document say we're not going to use exceptions, right? And they have a very precise reason, not just for that, right? I give you a reason why all your things are very bad for kernel, right? You don't have memory header. You don't have memory header. I cannot get address from an object. How could you tell me it's good? It is always preferable to C because C++, right? Because C++ freestanding is a mess. It's completely a mess, right? No, he's saying Linus algorithms. Had Linus Torvalds always said C is always preferable to C++? I don't know. I never heard about that. He's not saying C is always preferable to C++, right? Linus is a hypocrite. Linus is not a hypocrite, dear. He is the one who created the operating system. You're not. You don't write kernel. You don't do anything. You are the problem, right? You are the problem. You're talking about kernel, but you never write any kernel code, right? You just look at what other people are writing. You don't even write the code by yourself to see, oh, is it good? Does it have a good experience? How much binary size it will generate? What kind of operation would I write if I write with C++? No, he's not doing that. He's just saying Linus is hypocrite, right? Linus has experience, just like you're playing a game. You know why people who play, for example, World of Warcraft, whatever, if they can get a very high WCR ranking, we will listen to them. If they don't, we won't listen to them, right? Because if you don't have enough knowledge about something, you never try that thing, you just don't have something to say. Right? Everything you said is completely invalid. That's unfortunately just under the entire Western society, which is basically liberal democracy, they will tell you, hey, you can speak everything, even that's untrue, even that's causing problems and causing issues like this, causing a lot of misconceptions. You're still allowed to say that, right? That's a huge issue. Right? For those people, even if I'm Linus Torvalds, I would just ban those people. I won't even talk to them. I only explain that C++ is bullshit. C++ is terrible. I just ban them, right? Of course, he get annoyed by that, right? He's not arguing C++ is always better, dude. Just C++ is awful for kernel, right? What he said, he's saying, okay, C++ is definitely a horrible language. It's just a horrible language, right? I'm not saying C is not horrible, but saying C++ is not is a horrible language, I think everyone could agree with it, right? Does he ever said C++ is always worse than C? No, right? No, right? Both Boost is definitely not portable. Okay, Boost portability is a huge issue. He's absolutely right. I cross-compile and Canadian compile a lot of things. I can guarantee you Boost is a total mess. Okay, the DLL is very large and code is compiled extremely slow. I hate all code compiled with Boost. Yeah. I just use a library which is GitHub to do my job with, for example. Every C++ file, just because they use Boost, some Boost feature, it compiles 30 seconds. Dude, 30 seconds. I'm not talking about all the portability issues, just compilation time. Just include a header. 30 seconds are of my life are gone. You know. Every time I compile it, 30 seconds gone. Every time I do that, 30 seconds gone. How do you say it's portable and good? It's stable. Plus all the bugs I reported, like I think I mentioned before, because of the issue with Windows.h. They do something like include Windows.h. Okay. But the problem with include Windows.h is that Windows.h on Linux, Linux is case sensitive, right? And the Windows.h is a lowercase header. So on Linux, those header won't be found if I cross-compile. The header cannot be found because it's Windows.h, not Windows.h. How could you tell me it's portable? These people are really funny. They don't even understand anything. I'm going to say that. And he did talk about why C++ is a terrible choice for kernel. In the kernel, right? The kernel, right? Some fundamental things are not changed, right? C++ exception handling is fundamentally broken. I have talked about that for a very long time. And the compiler issues, right? So we just said that there's no memory. I cannot get an address in an object. I cannot do this. I cannot do std address up. How could you tell me it's a good choice for kernel? It's not a good choice for kernel, right? He's not saying that. That's you're saying that, okay? But people like you are really terrible because you really write modern C++ garbage. I think these people need to read my portable C++ guidelines, right? Portable C++ guideline, right? Because all their code are not portable. I'm sorry to say that your code is not portable. Okay. Do not use those things, right? I've said them many times. People, he's made. Right, just guessing reasons. These people are just guessing reasons. Just like why people don't play that class. It's because we know it's because it's underpowered. But these people are saying, "Oh, it's not play. It's because people do. It's very powerful. It's powerful. Those people are ignorant. They don't play it, right? Because the problem is that people who say those things are not the people who use them, right? They don't understand anything. They don't understand what's the problem, why that specific spec is underpowered, in what situation it's underpowered. They never even try any basic things like simulation craft. What happens if I just switch to, let's just use ice for ice mage versus a king mage. I think now it's ice is a king mage situation. Probably getting a little bit better because they did buff it a lot. Let me just check it. Just check what's happening right now. Yeah, a K-Mage is the bottom one, right? It's literally the bottom one. Its DPS is very low, right? Yeah. This is Mythic, okay? This is complete Mythic. Oh, 5 mages right now. What about Frost? Frost is 8 times more, right? Whatever. You just do the simulation craft, you know that some spec is more powerful than others. Why would you say that it's not? Why are you trying to deny the facts? Right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. But you're wrong, right? Those are objective matrices. You have the simulation craft, who is going to have more DPS or other. Or you can argue that some utilities can make it better. And yes, that's definitely the case. But still doesn't change the fact if we have the similar amount of utility, some specs are going to be more powerful than others, right? So you're just wrong. I'm sorry to say that. It's not those people don't understand. Then why so many people are not playing those underpowered specs? Well, probably because of some issues like what happens in the game here. Probably the Mythic one is only 20%. I think it's 20% people playing Mythic rate. others are just playing not heroic and normal. They don't play mythic, and they just use their no because it's just 80% of people are not playing mythic. They use their 80% of knowledge, the bottom 80% to understand what happens in 20% or 20%. And you get a very completely ironic and wrong perception. I'm sorry to say that. They complain templates. I don't understand why they do this. I don't even understand why they complain templates. He just gave up. Right? He tried to give up. Tried to just give up. Right? Year 2000. Kernel headers. Kernel friendly template based linked list implementation. The more I learn about C++, right, the more I agree with Linus Torvalds. No, I'm sorry to say that. Right. The entire thread is full of ignorance, right? I don't believe Linus Torvalds never read those kind of comments before. He did, right? He knows this center containers, he knows smart pointers, whatever else. But dude, none of those things are freestanding, right? None of those things are usable in the kernel. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm sorry to say that. What are you talking about? You're just a cult of ignorance, right? A cult of ignorance just assume that nothing. Use C plus kernel highly successfully. Reverse engineering. It's not bad. He's an asshole. Dude, you're an asshole. No, he's an asshole. You are an asshole. You are an asshole. You are an asshole. I'm sorry. You are an asshole. Go and write your kernel and right. You don't just shut the fuck up. The entire thread is just very dumb. Just very dumb. Initialization. Let's just try this. What about this? Oh, this is another nonsense. Hey. String manipulation and. Do we have string? Oh. Do we have vector? No. Let's just try. Try whether we have vector and string. Okay. I like those people. I like those people talking on bullshit. No, right? No string. Do we have string? No, we don't have string either. So what are you talking about? The thing you're using, the two big ones for you don't exist, dude. Then what's it gonna do? What are you gonna do? Sorry about that. Um, no. I'm so. I'm sorry. The C++ community is very ignorant and arrogant. I'm sorry to say that. Yeah, right tool for right job, right? Is their project. They have. I mean, you should take respect for those for like the developers in the Linux kernel. They are the right tool for doing the right job. Yeah, right. It's their project. It's not your project, right? They have the rights to choose what to use, what language to use, whatever they use. If you don't respect them, you're saying, "Oh, you must do this, do that." You're wrong. Crusaders plus us. Yeah, this is a huge issue, right? It's just, oh, tell those C guys, oh, just go ahead, use C++, use this smart pointer, use this vector bullshit, use this, right? Oh, everything is just completely nonsense. I'm sorry, just completely nonsense, right? You just use any symbols and you can just cut binary size for half without using standard containers. Improving performance for 30 or even infinite percent. Putting something which is linear time to be constant by calling malloc can calloc. But here it's not going to work, right? You're not going to work with C++. It doesn't allow you to call calloc. Right? It doesn't allow you to call the realloc. So what are you talking about? In bed. He's probably using New Deep, I think. He's probably using New Deep. Nothing. Those people don't know C++. I'm sorry. It's just shut the fuck up. Your altitude are why they are not going to be interested in C++. Right? Because you just tell them something very terrible. C+17. I'm using C+23, dude. C+23 have no to move. Then you're telling me C+17. What are you talking about? C+. Have you ever read anything about how kernel was written? Anything about C++? Do they use vectors? Do they use strings? Do they use anything like that? Do they use exceptions? What of those things are something you guys are promoting? Absolutely no, right? And also, in fact, C, you cannot say C, the Windows kernel is purely written in C++. Hybrid kernel. Oh, haha. Okay, here's something what Microsoft did. Okay, look at this. He's saying it's hybrid. Windows is hybrid, right? He literally what he said. He said Windows is hybrid. Windows is hybrid kernel. Dude, it's not, dude. It's definitely not. Right? Look at this one. Read this one. Both Linux and Windows are monolithic. both Windows, Linux, and Windows are monolithic. Remember again, both Linux and Windows are monolithic. Who is doing that? Microsoft. See, Microsoft is here. So even Microsoft themselves saying is monolithic. How do you say
with a different version that has a different implementation?
Monolithic
didn't
kernel.
like in the 1990s, and upload Windows features
And you can see, actually Windows, if you look at that, you can see Windows is actually more monolithic than Linux, right? Linux, you have X Windows part, which is window manager in the user space. But Windows, the Windows manager, window manager is in kernel space. In the kernel space, right? In the kernel mode. So actually Windows is more monolithic than Linux. How do you say the opposite? You have no idea what you're talking about, dude. You have no idea what you're talking about. NT is not a hybrid kernel. It's a monolithic kernel. You see, those people they know nothing about kernel are talking about kernel. Okay, they just completely ignorant. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? No story, dude. No story. I don't know what those people are talking about. It's just completely other shit, right? Complete other shit. I bet it. There's no story they're talking about story. Are they seeing virtual function? No virtual function, dude. Virtual functions are in needs runtime because it requires CXE pure virtual. CXE pure virtual, right? It requires CXE pure virtual. It has no CXE pure virtual. Yep, that's exactly what happened. It's just binary size is extremely large with a boost. Because of bunch of static things and probably it's not even templates. It's just completely ridiculous. They just write horrible code. They just had a bunch of horrible code here. Just use one feature, gonna bloat your binary, something like that. So it's not just template, because template cannot duplicate for that kind of times, right? Just a bunch of dead code, a bunch of garbage code that be put in. Performance. And the whole something is completely irrelevant, right? The entire thread is completely irrelevant. They are not talking about anything about freestanding, right? That's exactly the case. Unfortunately, modern C++ exactly solve the wrong problems. They're not fixing freestanding. You cannot use array. You cannot use utility. You cannot use memory, right? You cannot use S3 addresser. Why is it not solving the wrong problem? People have their own taste. Dude, you are not doing the right thing. It's not taste problem. It's that you are doing the wrong thing. That you're complaining about what other people are doing things. This guy is probably the only one that says something, but nobody cares. They don't care about freestanding. We don't care about freestanding at all. Let's just reread this part. I think this part just tells it, right? It's the only finally a valid answer for this question. But nobody in this thread is talking about that. C++ comes in two flavors: freestanding and hosted C++. Hosted C++ is what you probably think of when you hear C++. It runs on an operating system. Freestanding runs on Metal. Like for embedded system, and you guess it, Linus specifically, kernels. Freestanding C++ is a mess, and the standard is quite limited. And C++ is basically only used for hosted. C++ 23 try to alleviate that issue, but it's not fixing it completely. Exactly, but I think even C++ 23 is not actually trying to alleviate the problem. I don't believe they are gonna add this whole big freestanding proposal to make the features work before C++ 26. We have a very long way to go even have headers, even have smooth, dude. What are you talking about? This is blaming C++, blaming C++ again, blaming those are people in WG21, dude. You know how bad those WG21 people are. They have no idea what they should do, right? Of course, they hate me too, but they generally just hate. Bullshit. Linux is worse. Linux is worse, right? Probably he's one to just say, portable. Series 4 weeks. Safely. Oh, safely. What feature? What feature, dude? Are you seeing built-in addresser? Are you seeing saying my move? I can use to move. I write my move, right? So it's safely using. Not much safer, no, dude. No. You cannot move, dude. There's no to move. How are you talking about move only? There's no to move, dude. No to move. C plus 20. No go VTable. VTable, you're not allowed to use it because it will lack on runtime, right? What you can do. What are you going to do? No, this is probably pronunciation wrong, right? Fuchsia, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's Fuchsia. Fuchsia. Fuchsia, right? It reads as fuchsia. Whatever. Pronunciation wrong, dude. Pronunciation wrong. And listen to what their experience. People are telling me that Serenity is going to switch to another language, their own language. I don't know, but in general, it's quite a mess. It's a complete mess. I'm Serenity OS, not really know. BOS. Com. VRT. 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 Dude, those things are not even kernel. Those Windows just DLLs, right? Just DLLs. You're talking about kernel. Making private and it's kind of factory function. It's just a bad idea. He's right. It's just a complete bad idea. Using C++ is just a complete bad idea due to the horrible exception handling and the horrible freestanding, entire freestanding thing. No, they are not a minority, a loud minority of C programmers. You are the loud minority of C++ community. That's the opposite, right? That's the truth. Why those people are not using it if it's so good? Just like why people don't play those underpowered class specs if they are so good, right? Why you have 20 times more people play this spec than that spec? See? So you're saying those people are ignorant to play balanced druid than people who play affliction warlock? What are you talking about here? Let's just see what healers will have. No, let's just see healers. So why would you have five times more people play that than Miss Weaver? Why would you have those people play that? If it's so good. It's not good, right? The fact is, it's not good. That's why people are not playing it. Not those people are ignorant to not play it. It's just very like gaming, right? Gaming is saying that those people are saying no bad players, only bad classes. No bad classes, only bad players. No bad specs, no bad players. No bad heroes, no bad players. Actually, the quality is also true, right? You can say, I think the more true. No bad players, only bad class. Only bad classes, only bad specs. What's wrong with that? It's the same bullshit, right? You are ignoring the reality. That's the problem. Just like why people, it's the same thing. These people are just blaming people, saying no bad programming language, only bad programmers, right? Or just quite opposite, dude. You are the ones that are bad programs. I'm sorry to say that. You are the programs that are bad programs. I'm sorry about that. let's just read Linus Torvalds' code, right? Git clean up Linus Torvalds. These people are teaching Linus Torvalds to write code, dude. What the fuck? What the fuck they're doing? It's you are ignorant, dude. Those community like r/CPP, like this Reddit, is the truly ignorant one. Okay. Dude. Just see whether we have other thing here. No, you don't, right? If you do, you will ignore those features, right? You completely ignore C vector unique pattern, right? All sorts of nonsense. You don't, right? If you do, you won't. You won't make those arguments here. OOP. They're not optional features, dude. They're not optional features. You are talking about those things. What are you gonna left if you don't have those features? There's people that say you can turn off exceptions, you can turn off this, turn off that. Any language in the kernel is restricted. No. The freestanding C+ is just totally problematic, right? It's totally problematic. It's exactly why you need freestanding standard. The C+ freestanding standard is terrible, right? The C standard is usable, but C+ is not. How do you blame the issues for other people? If you're saying, oh, for 50 years ago, it's completely different language, dude. I say C+ is getting worse every year, particularly C++ 20, with this two format nonsense, right? Just complete bullshit, right? Complete bullshit. Function pointers. Objectively superior. Object is superior. No, it's not, dude. REIR is not objectively better. First, you don't have to move, right? There's no to move. You cannot move an object, dude. That breaks your REIR. Second, what if I don't want to execute destructors? Third, what's happening with API issues with those objects? Because if I mark something with destructors, for example, the API requires the object to be put in memory. It's not allow you to put in the register. So what you're talking about? Basically, he's blaming Linus Torvalds for not using C++ is a bad reason. It is wrong. No, it's just bad language. The language is bad. It's still not appropriate yet. It's still not appropriate. You see, Linus Torvalds just gave it the direct reason. And now those people are just trying to refute his argument, right? He's not talking about anything about it's fundamentally broken. The exception handling thing is fundamentally broken. Those people just ignore that issue. They're saying you can just disable exceptions. Then you're saying, why do you disable exceptions? I disable it, and then say, what's wrong with exceptions? You must disable exceptions. It's your fault not disable exceptions. Like blaming Google is doing, right? Google is exactly doing what you're doing. I'm disabling exceptions, but you're saying, why doesn't Google disable exceptions? These people are literally crazy, dude. They are crazy. Probably, I think the entire R/CPP are substandard programmers due to all the bad books of those nonsense. Complete nonsense. I mean, I'm sorry to say that you are nonsense. Let's just see whether we have new comments here, because if I refresh it, probably get some new comments. You can see the entire thread is completely derailing, right? They talk about nothing about solving C++ problem. They're just blaming Linus Torvalds. The entire video, the entire thread is just about that. It's to blame other people. It's not to solving problem. It's to blame other people. I mean, those two guys are famous exception promoter, exception fanboys, right? Propagandists. Right? They're just saying, oh, there's nothing wrong, use exceptions, dude. What's that?
Please join me
No,
in welcoming my
please,
dear.
please, no, just no. Why people are talking about freestanding thing? Okay. I don't think there's anything new here. C is severely abused. You should. What's wrong with it? He's saying I'm not a fan of C++. Why he get downvoted? I guess people just downvote him because of the first sentence he write. C+ relies on kernel, and kernel is Do you think C++ changed a lot? I think the situation in C++ is deteriorating. It's actually getting worse. It's not getting better, dude. So, but I don't have to move, dude. I don't have to move. I don't have those things you're fucking talking about. What are you talking about, dude? No, but you can see people don't care about something that is really important, right? They don't care about something which is important. They're just talking about nonsense, right? This is literally what the C++ community is. This is basically the R/C++ community is. So please just close it and don't put that in my Discord again. Don't do this, okay? Please don't do this again. Don't do this again, please. Okay, it's completely retarded.